Welcome to the Human Being Store, and thank you for joining us for Human Being 101, our podcast where we discuss what it means to be both human and being in the world. I'm Maria Pritchard, Director of Guidance and Operations.
And I'm Kathleen Schaefer. I'm the founder and CEO.
And today we are here to talk about the 3 key leadership skills. And there are so many different leadership assessments out there and different ways of looking at leadership. And Kathleen, you have distilled this down to 3 skills, which I think is really powerful and concise and helpful for people.
Well, thank you. And yes, always good to keep it simple and make it easy to remember. So, as you said, people look and say, well, what is it that I need to be a leader? There's the 10 top qualities, there's a 15, there's a 7, whatever it is. And, it makes leadership inaccessible for so many people. And it's really not.
And it becomes something we're always chasing if it's always changing.
Correct. And what I love about this approach is that it's really leadership is a natural expression of someone who is connected with their gift, which is why at the Human Being Store we start with getting people connected to their gift and knowing and understanding it, right? Authentic self and what it is you want to contribute and how you're aligned to it. And when you've understood this, leadership is just a natural extension and expression of your gift. It's not something you have to, kind of go out and study for years and years and years. You get to just start doing it and living it.
And something that I've experienced in my work is people who even have a resistance to the idea of being a leader. And I think it's just that it's this societal concept that I have to look like something else, be like something else, be outside of myself to be a leader. And this model is really just about being at your best, and leadership comes from that. And each of us have a unique expression of leadership. It's not about fitting into any mold.
Right. Well, what you get at is how I have attempted to change the study and the practice of leadership during all of the years that I've been doing this, which is most people have thought about leadership as being in a position of authority. And it's, I get to a certain place where I can have, accumulated and I'm able to wield power. For me, I look at it as, leadership is love in action. It's really the love of ourself and what we want to offer and putting it out into the world. And so the way that I just break it down into the 3 simple components of what leadership are things that, again, naturally come when we're connected. First and foremost, that's communication, right? I mean, obviously, where there's leadership, we have to communicate. Everybody can communicate. That's what we do.
And everybody can communicate in different ways. Some of us are great at giving presentations, doing podcasts, writing, short writing, long form writing. There's so many ways to be a powerful communicator.
Right. To large groups, to small groups, whatever it is. Leadership is about relationship. I mean, that's what is inherent. And really, it takes us to our second key point of every relationship requires communication. And the difference with leadership is, to point 2 is conscious choice. How are we choosing to show up in those relationships? And if we are choosing to show up in a way that is connected to our gift and expressing it at its best, then we're choosing to lead.
Right.
And that's it, right? Once you start making those choices, you start changing the nature of the relationships and how you are impacting the world.
Right, and that's something that we've talked about in previous episodes, the difference of what it feels like to lead your life from your gift or lead your life from these external measures of success.
Or pretend you're leading your life with those external,
right?
Right.
Yeah, it's the, the dog with the bone.
That's one of my favorite examples.
Chasing a moving target. That's really what it looks like to attempt to lead from something external versus leading from your gift is conscious choice.
Right. And it's so much fun, right? Because once you start to figure out what you love to do, what you want to express, the fact that you can connect into that and make choices about, I choose to be here, I choose this type of work, I choose to show up in this way, whatever it is, it's now you understand that the power rests within you, and it doesn't rest with all of these external things. In fact, by taking and owning that power, you get to create a much better version of what you're experiencing externally.
Right. And no one can take that away from you.
Absolutely. Right? So communication, conscious choice. The third one I know is your favorite, Maria.
I love conflict.
So at the Human Being Store and the Leadership Connection model, we talk about the third key leadership skill is conflict resolution and using it as a tool for growth. And, one of the things that comes up quite a bit is people say, I don't like conflict, right? I mean, we were just making the joke.
Right.
No one likes conflict, because conflict means that in some ways there's a disconnection, whether it's between ourselves or between two people. And, here at the Human Being Store, we're all about how do you create that alignment and connection. The thing that we want to do here with this leadership skill is to reframe it, which is conflict is natural, because no one is ever 100% connected and aligned to themselves. And we certainly, in that connection or not, are not around people who are 100% connected and aligned all the time. The question is, do we see conflict as bad and something to be avoided or run away from? Or is it an opportunity for all of us to show up a little bit better, a little more consciously, and to work it through so that we can leave it behind?
And I really think of that choice in those moments of conflict is, am I going to step toward my gift or away from my gift?
And are we going to step toward each other or
Right.
away from each other? And I really think that that's the power in this, is that so many people take conflict as an excuse to back up. And for me, one of the most challenging things is to not back away from the person who is experiencing that disconnection or the disconnection that's being created, because that's the easy part. And when you stay put, when you hold that space, when you are willing to say, no, I'm here and we're going to work this through, what happens is that you get through it quickly. You're actually able to leave it behind, and it doesn't continue to follow you and fester. And you move on in ways that ensure that you're going to experience that conflict less and less and less in the future.
And the beauty of this model is that it really reshapes the way that you see the world. And we stop focusing on what seems to be wrong or the problem, and we start focusing on what's right. And you see the world through this lens that everyone has a gift, everyone has something beautiful about them. And even in those moments of conflict with another person where you can see them stepping away from themselves, you can hold the energy of their gift, their wholeness, and like you said, just stay there with that person, believing that they have something powerful to offer, even if maybe in that moment they're not stepping into that.
Right? We can't hold or see someone else in their gift if we aren't connected to our own.
Right.
And that's the gift they're giving back to us in that moment of conflict, right? Because, so often part of the reason the conflict is there is because we too are a little, askew from it.
Right.
And when we just see this as, the natural ebb and flow of life, it just is something that we can embrace and work through rather than resist.
Yeah, it's definitely changed my relationships, both personally and professionally. And particularly in my professional relationships, the word integrity has just become such a big part of my decision making, and just really trusting my instincts and, really trusting leading from my gift, that conscious choice, and knowing that even if it's going to be a difficult thing to say, someone's not going to want to hear it. When I communicate from that place of authenticity and connection, often there isn't a conflict that arises out of that, even though I'm saying something that might be hard for the other person or party
Yes.
to receive. And it actually does yield growth and evolution and bringing us toward the desired outcomes.
Right. Isn't that what we all say that we want? We all want to move forward. We all want resolution. We all want things to evolve and to grow. It's just that so often we back away from the behaviors and the level of engagement that really allow that to happen, which to me goes right back to why these are the leadership skills, right? Communication, conscious choice, conflict resolution. You practice that in your daily life connected to your gift, I guarantee you will take off like a rocket. It's a simple formula and one that requires practice.
Absolutely. And I'm so excited to get into our guest interview because I know she has been using this to transform her world.
Yeah, she's a real rock star. You guys will enjoy hearing from her.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome back to the part of the episode where we interview a special guest about their gift and how they're using it in their life. And today we are very excited to have Sam Civarella here with us. Hi, Sam.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. We're excited to have Sam for a whole variety of reasons. She's going to share a bit about her gift. And one of the things I want to mention about this work and why I love it so much is that I wanted to really engage in the Human Being Store because we are able to offer these services and this work to a variety of people beyond me. And so one of the fun things about Sam is she actually has been working with another one of the guides at the store to get her gifts. So Sam, I would love it if you would just share a little bit about how you came to know about the Human Being Store and what led you to want to come get your gift.
So I came to the Human Being Store via my friend Allie, who is with the Human Being Store. She's just a tremendous human person. And I was like, I'll trust her wherever she goes. So when she's like, hey, I'm doing this new thing, where you get your gift and we explore all of that, I was like, sign me up. I'm in. Let me get a gift. That sounds nice. Who doesn't love presents? So I was like, let's go.
Bravo,
and
yes.
I'm a health coach, so I'm a holistic health coach. So I'm always looking for different avenues to explore when it comes to mental health, personal health, and well-being. So this seemed like a vital, kind of next chapter, exploring more here. So my first session with Allie was really interesting because I'm from New Jersey. I'm a cynic, and a skeptic. So when you're telling me meditation and all this stuff, I have a really hard time grasping it. But Allie was so patient with me and she took me on this journey and I went. It was so easy to let go and allow this sensation to kind of take over my body. And Allie walked me through, there's different stages of getting your gift. And when I finally saw it, and when Allie and I talked about, my gift is golden books. So
golden books, you're going to have to tell us more about that.
I would love to, because when Allie and I dived into, I was like, what does this mean? And I'm a researcher, I'm a reader. When all else fails for me, I hit the books. I'm just like, okay, the answers are there. And I went into this library, which was super hippie, and plants everywhere. And there were these golden books, and that Allie was like, that's your gift. And this library too is this space that we're going to go in our sessions. And I was just so enthralled by that notion of having this safe space. And then something in there that I just have always been I've always found safety in books, be it Harry Potter, be it, the Mary-Kate and Ashley books from my youth. I've always been reading books, and now they're mostly health and stuff. So it was very interesting to me that these golden books in this library came up in our first session. So that's how I came to the Human Being Store. That's how I got my gift. And then once we started diving in, it was just kind of
so
wow.
I love that image of golden books, and some people are able to share their gift in a very succinct way. Others, it's a little bit, I don't know.
Amorphous.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. So, Sam, it's clear you've got a lot of energy. I'm really curious. How have you used this idea of golden books to enhance your leadership and to enhance the work that you're doing?
So I've been using it in two different ways, because there's the notion, I kind of the books in the library for me are that they're the same, but they work differently. The books are what I use as my tools to make the changes I want to see in my life. And the library is where I go to figure out what I need to do to make those changes. So I work in a restaurant, it's super high stakes. so many people every night, and it gets really frustrating. And there's a whole lot that can happen that can really, man, it can really bring you down. And through working with Allie, it's like the idea of taking a deep breath and closing my eyes for like 10 seconds and just remembering that I have that place to go where nobody can come in. Like, you lock the door of the library and you're with your plants. I tell Allie all the time, I redecorate the library often. Like, there's a purple chaise lounge. Like, we got a lot going on there. It's beautiful. And even just like talking about it now, like, it makes me happy because I have this special space. So that's the library. It's like at work when things are crazy and hectic, or in life when things are just, when you need to take a break, I have that place to go. And then once I'm there and I relax and I take that time, it's like, oh, there's the book. This is what I need. I take the book down from, the shelf, open it up, and it's like, okay, I need a mental health day, or I need to get back to the gym. I obviously missed it. Or here's like a crazy idea I have for a show that has something to do with health and comedy and all this stuff. And it all comes flooding out because I allowed myself and granted myself that space to reach for the book. Because a lot of people don't like to read. They like instant gratification, which is really interesting, which is why I use the library too, because I'm the same way. I want to not be frustrated right now. I want to have 1,000 ideas all playing out well, but it's like, it slows you down and it allows you to, for me, it like allows me to take stock in what I need to do and what I want to get done.
Absolutely. I mean, you are so articulate about your gift, and it's so clear that you're using it in this way that we talk about so often, right? Which is, how do we take that little bit of break from everything that's coming at us and readjust so we can take it out in the world? So, to wrap up here, I'd love to know what changes have you experienced since you've gotten your gift?
I would, oh my gosh. I mean, being a North Jersey Italian who lived in New York for 8 years, like, people who I just recently went home and my mother asked me what I was on, because I'm just so much more like, I rationalize way more instead of just reacting. I think about it and then I'm like, oh, okay, like, we don't have to yell about this. We don't have to get frustrated about this. It just kind of, I activate the library sometimes without even knowing I'm going in, which is through practice of going, doing that. And so I would say I just feel so much more grounded. And, it's not easy. Every day is a different type of day. And there are days where, I just want to yell at the Prius who cuts me off on the 405, and I might, but it's really comforting to know that I have that like storage unit right back here where it's like, oh, I have this thing I can grasp onto, never forget. And I think that's what's changed the most, is having that support system and just knowing that I am in control.
Yes.
And I have the power to make the choice.
Yes.
To feel the ways that I want to feel or not. And that I would say is the biggest change, is learning choice. And then it's mine.
Yes, absolutely. So beautifully said. Such an amazing, powerful individual. I cannot wait to see the comedy health restaurant show that you will be creating, because
absolutely,
I can feel it now too. Yeah. Can't you, Maria? I mean, it's just absolutely great. Your power, your presence, your energy, so amazing to be with you today. And we really appreciate you sharing your story with all of us.
I appreciate everything you all are doing. It's really, you got a North Jersey crazy Italian girl to settle down. So
that's a great endorsement.
Yeah, well, thank you. All right. Well, have a wonderful rest of your day, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
I love Sam.
She's fantastic, isn't she?
She's amazing. And, she really did touch on all three of the leadership skills. Her gift, the Golden Books, has really helped her in all three of those areas. She talked about using this tool in a way that we really encourage all of our clients to use it as this place that they can return to, that they can get grounded. And when she does, her communication is better. She realizes that she has conscious choice, and she is able to use conflict as a tool for growth.
Absolutely. Isn't that great? I mean, we talk about this obviously a lot in theory, and a big part of why we wanted to, share these interviews with you is because it does work. And it may sound simple. Sometimes it may sound a little crazy, like she said. And in the end, it works. And that's what we want for everyone who comes to the Human Being Store. We want you to understand and embrace the best that you are and put it to use in your life and to experience the results from it. That's how the world gets better, is when each one of us get better.
Yeah, and it's okay if you think that this might be crazy, because
It
even
is.
for those who have thought that, it is working in their lives. And that's really what we wanted to share with you all, is the stories of how this is changing people's lives.
Yeah, that's really it. I mean, I think we've mentioned before in other episodes that, you and I came together around this work because we wanted to see a world that not only worked better, was better. And that when we had to scale it all back to how do you begin, how do you do that, it's with each of us as individuals. And that as our worlds change, so does, the larger world. And Sam's a great example of that.
Yeah, and this is really an example of, we as a company are practicing our own model. We're implementing it every day, and we are here because this is what lights us up, seeing the impact of our work. We're not here because we want or need to sell something. We are here to change the world, and this is how we are using our gifts to do it.
Yep, one person at a time.
Absolutely. Thank you again for joining us at the Human Being Store. This has been Human Being 101. Hope to see you next time.
Have a great day.